Hello, and welcome to Wiso's guide on how to obtain the Lucid Nightmare secret puzzle mount. All of my resources that I used in order to complete this puzzle will be listed below in the description. Now let's get started. First and foremost, we are on the top level of the Curiosities and More building here in Dalaran. On the top floor, there is a table with an inconspicuous note. This note has a hint to our next note. This note reads, it begins in 21040059 with a most pleasing sign. These letters will not always rhyme. Since I've already completed this, I already know that we're heading to Ulduar, so I will meet you there, and that's where we'll start the next part of the puzzle. Alright, now that we are at Ulduar, and we've made our way to XT's room, we are over on the far upper left corner of the room, as you can see here on the map. In this scrap pile, there is located a lever here at the top. It's a little bit of a pain to get to, but once you get to it, I just fell down. Once you get to it, the lights spawn. And from here, we will be doing the gear symbol. As outlined in the guide that I am referencing, you need to make sure that you are counting 7 from either side and then moving and and then starting off, because it starts 6 in the center. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we'll start here, and it's 6. So that's 4, 2 more, and then we'll do the rest. So it's always 4 up, and for the side portions here, it's always 3. So it's actually 4 up, and then it's diagonal. And then it is 4 across. Then you go up 4 more. If you remember this section here, you always need to remember it goes to 3, and then we can go and finish this portion here. And again, the sides are always 6, so here's 5, 6, another set of 4, and then we have 4 diagonally in the corner. Pretty much you repeat this process all the way around until you've gotten the whole set of lights filled in. Once all the lights have been filled in, you'll be able to get the next piece of the puzzle, which will be dead center, and it'll direct us to the next location. This is rather long and tedious, but it's necessary, and I actually kind of enjoy the creativity that was put in for this puzzle. I think it was really neat that they gave you all these options for potential things that the shape could be. And if you look, you can see the gear shape. So all you have to do is finish filling in these lights. And then here in the center, the note will pop up. So I'm going to quickly finish filling all these in, and then we'll get to the next point. Okay, now that I've got all but 4 of these highlighted, let's just hurry up and finish these off. And done. They all disappear, and in the center of these 4 red ones is our next clue. It says, 1,000 years imprisoned, surely it wears on the mind. Now, if you've read ahead, or if you've already done this, you'll know that this is pointing to Cthulhu's imprisonment for 1,000 years, according to lore. So that's where we'll be headed. I'm going to go to AQ 40, and then we'll do the next part of the puzzle from there. The last clue from Ulduar, which was 1,000 years imprisoned, surely it wears on the mind. This refers to Cthulhu and Temple of AQ. Once you've made it to AQ, kill Cthulhu, and then take the path to the left up the stairs, and you'll see here a mind worm or mind larvae, and you'll have to complete a mini game. If you have the Jewel Crafter's toy that lets you play the Bejeweled style game, it's very similar. Presently, all you need to do is just keep playing until your score gets high enough, and then it'll disappear. You'll be able to read the next clue on this inconspicuous note, which says, "Deeper than deep awaits your seat." Now, if you've been looking at the guide ahead of time, you'll know that this refers to a place in Deep Home. Make sure that you have a shadow weave mask. That way you can make the least amount of trips possible. Shadow weave masks are created by tailors. This pattern was originally taken out of the game, but now has been put back into the game. And it drops from the Dark Iron Steam guys. They are out in Syrian Gorge. It's really annoying to farm, but maybe if you're lucky on your server, somebody will make it for cheap or make it for free. On to the next place. Once you've made it to Deep Home and you have your Shadow Weave mask, you need to go to the Crumbling Depths, go to the area behind where the worm that goes around in circles is. Over towards the right, you will find a crevice which will allow you to right click, and there will be a warning that says beware, you're going to fall down, just accept it. And in this room where all these people are standing on top of, there is a plaque that you might not be able to see very well. It's right here if you can see it on my screen. I know this is cancer and I apologize, but most of these people here are cancer, so it's very difficult to see. As you can see, there's this plaque here. It kind of looks like a chair, but there's a skull at the bottom of it here, which you need to interact with. If you can see my mouse by my health pool, I'm right clicking it. You can zoom it, and then on the floor, if you walk back out, stare at the ground, you'll see this piece of paper here, which you need to right click on and read, and it says where the shaded delegate may appear. Now what this alludes to is a rare spawn in Nobergen called the Dark Iron Ambassador. So that's where we'll be heading next. Alright, now that I've gotten to the 10 levers section, I'm going to show you how to get here first. First, you're going to enter in through the Hall of Gears like you normally would. You're going to jump down into the Hall of Gears, the bottom place where you see all the viscous fallout. You're going to go to the launch bay, jump down from the launch bay, and then in the launch bay area, between the engineering labs and the launch bay, right here where I am on the map, that's where these gears are. We need to set the levers to a specific sequence. So we are going to leave the first one at number 1. We're going to set the second lever to number 2. We're going to set the third lever to 2. We're going to set the fourth lever to 2. We're going to set the fifth lever to 1, so we'll just leave it alone. The sixth lever needs to be set to 7. Alright, so it's been set. Now for the 7th, we need to set it to 6. Alright, it is now set to 6. The 8th needs to be set to 5. It is now set to 5. We need to set the 9th one to 9. Oh, I thought it could go reverse, apparently not. Alright, it is now set to 9. Then we need to set the last one to 7. All of this information can be found through the Wowhead guide and many others. You just have to make sure you follow the steps. Alright, now that that's been done, you'll see that we have this note here, and we can move on to the next part. Games and toys are left behind when you awaken screaming. Sounds like fun. So it looks like this is going to take us to Val'sharah. Okay, now that we've made it to Val'sharah,
the Legion will fall.
If you see here at the coordinates 66, 36 approximately, there is a house where the mob Wraith Talon can be found. Go inside the building, and there is an interactable Nightmare Tumor. This will give you a mini game, which is going to be very similar to Blingtron's A Circuit Design Tutorial, where you have to make the lines become untangled. The idea is to get all of these to turn blue. If you're having trouble with getting the shapes to move into a good position, what I've done multiple times now is to try and move things as close together as possible. This will make it substantially easier. Because if you make them with the shortest distance between each other, you have much less to worry about. Now, I'm still not perfect at it, but it does take some getting used to. And of course, my camera likes to change randomly when I click on things, which is incredibly annoying. But hopefully it doesn't do it that often. The neat thing is you don't have to have everything in an open shape. You can actually change the way things look just by doing it like this. And there you go. Once you complete that, the note shows up here. I love that little animation that goes on the scroll when you click it. What you seek is buried within. Now this one is regards to the Valley of Emperors and Kunlai Summit. Sorry, I couldn't remember what it was called. I was looking right at it. So, that's where we're heading next. Quickest way to get there is to go to Dalaran if you have it, and then go to the portal area for Alliance or Horde, and then take the portal to Pandaria that way. Now that we are at the Valley of the Emperors, here at coordinates approximately 5349, we enter this tomb of secrets, and we need to go to the Mogu statue up here. There should be an urn, and we will be able to click on it. Now that you've clicked on it, you can read it, and it says, runes on this urn indicate that it contains some of the remains of a powerful Mogu spirit binder. Many of the markings appear to be warnings. Consume the ashes. You're going to consume the ashes of an evil sorcerer. There's no way to tell what will happen. Are you very sure you want to do this? Now, when this happens, we'll be teleported into a room called the Endless Halls. This is a randomly generated maze, much like the last puzzle you had to encounter. The easiest way, or the most recommended way, is to draw a map to keep track of where you're going. So let's give this a go. Alright, now that I've got most of my maze mapped out, I'm going to put the final color orb on the pedestal rune, and then I'll be done. So what you can see here is I'm using an add-on for the Lucid Nightmare. And what this does is maps out all of the stuff for you. It's called Lucid Nightmare Helper. You can get it on CurseForge, and it makes it much easier in regards to having to map it out by hand. I tried using Excel to map it out by hand. It was not easy. Not at all. It's a very long thing. But the thing that really helps me out is that they go numerically. And what a lot of people don't think about when they're trying to use this in a 2D setting, like I was in Excel, is that this is more of a three-dimensional maze in the sense that you can have rooms where you've already written down, which can make things even more confusing. So using this is definitely makes it easier because everything's numerical. It does take a little bit of getting used to initially for where the direction of the blocks are made. It seems to be a little bit backwards, kind of like the arrow from where the arrow's perspective is, if it's left, right, forward, or whichever direction it may be. So it takes a bit to get used to, but it is certainly easier. The other nice thing about this add-on is it allows you to mark each of the room locations if you'd like to. In doing so, visually, it helps out a ton. Alright, now that I've got all of these done, I should be able to just go into another room, and it should take me to the end. Yes, alright, now we're at the end. Alright, now that the final piece of the puzzle has been completed, you will make your way to Karazhan, behind to Morgan's plot, go down into the crypts, and make your way to the Pit of Criminals. On top of the Pit of Criminals is a box for Puzzler's Desire, which contains the Lucid Nightmare. Now you just have to make your way out. Shouldn't be too difficult. But the waterways are kind of a hint for how to get out of here. Or get into here. There's the quickest way. Just watch and you'll be able to see how to get down there. Since I'm gonna go backwards. Some crazy stuff down here, like the upside down sinners. Just dead people, chained and hanging from chains in the water. This used to be blocked off, but it is now accessible to players. The only way to get back here in back of the day was to glitch your way in. You can even notice that most of the things still aren't finished, like when you mouse over Doodad. Oh wait, I forgot this room's the wrong one. Whoops. This part is where most people get confused. So on this path, it'll take you to here. The crypt. You don't want to go here. When you come down, you need to make sure you make this left. When you make that left, that'll take you on the right path. I didn't notice it on the first time when I was going down. I got a little confused. Alternatively, you can just take, you don't want to take this left here. You need to take the right and then the left. Otherwise, you'll just get stuck in the same room where there's just a bunch of doors that you can open. Warlocks, you'll remember part of this from the appearance. Also, if you have that quest in your log, make sure you get rid of it. Otherwise, you won't be able to complete it properly. Once again, this has been my guide on how to complete the Lucid Nightmare secret puzzle mount. As mentioned in the beginning of this video, all of my resources are linked down below in the description, and again, a big thank you to everyone who spent countless hours trying to get this puzzle solved. It's much appreciated, and have a good rest of your day.